After years of intense economic tension, something big just happened between the United States and China. For the first time in a long time, both countries are taking a step back. Tariffs are dropping. Markets are surging. But is this a turning point or just a pause in a bigger trade war? Let's break down what you need to know and what this means for the global economy. On May 12, 2025, the United States and China reached a rare agreement, a temporary 90-day reduction in tariffs. This is significant because for the past several years, tariffs between the two largest economies in the world have only gone one way. Here's the deal. The U.S. dropped its tariffs on Chinese goods from a staggering 145 down to 30%. Meanwhile, China reduced tariffs on U.S. goods from 125 to just 10%. That's a huge cut. But don't get too excited. This is only for 90 days. After that, if no new agreement is reached, the higher tariffs may come back. And one more thing. The U.S. is keeping a separate 20% tariff on Chinese products linked to fentanyl production. That part of the deal is off the table. The global markets responded instantly. The Dow Jones Industrial Average jumped more than 1,100 points, its biggest single-day surge of the year. The S&P 500 rose 3.3%, while the Nasdaq soared by 4.4%. Why such a big reaction? It's simple. Reduced tariffs mean reduced costs for businesses and more predictability in global trade. To understand why this matters, we need to rewind. The U.S.-China trade war officially began in 2018, when then-President Donald Trump started slapping tariffs on Chinese imports to pressure Beijing on intellectual property, subsidies, and trade imbalances. China responded with its own tariffs, and since then, the situation escalated. When President Biden took office, he didn't reverse those tariffs. In fact, his administration added new ones in 2024, particularly targeting semiconductors, electric vehicles, and medical equipment. In short, the tariffs became about more than just trade. They were about national security, manufacturing independence, and even geopolitical competition. So why are the U.S. and China easing off, even if temporarily? Reason 1. Domestic pressure. Both countries are feeling economic strain. In the U.S., inflation and interest rates are making voters restless. In China, sluggish domestic demand and a shaky real estate sector are hurting growth. Reason 2. Global supply chains, major industries like electronics, automotive, and pharmaceuticals have lobbied hard for tariff relief. Rising input costs have made planning nearly impossible. Reason 3. 2025 elections. With the U.S. presidential election looming, stabilizing trade is politically smart. It gives the Biden administration a win and takes pressure off companies ahead of campaign season. Reason 4. Diplomatic thaw. There have been quiet but persistent efforts to stabilize the relationship, especially with tensions still high in the South China Sea and over Taiwan. Here's the big question. Is this a sign of long-term peace or just a breather before the next clash? The truth? It's complicated. Optimists say this is a chance to reset relations, move toward a modernized trade framework, and de-escalate tensions. Skeptics point out that the core issues, like technology transfer, cybersecurity, and strategic competition, are unresolved. The tariffs may be back in 3 months, or worse. Scenario A. A new deal is struck. Tariffs remain low. Trade recovers. Scenario B. Talks break down. Tariffs snap back up. Markets tumble. Scenario C. One side re-escalates for leverage in upcoming elections. And remember, these are not just numbers on a spreadsheet. These tariffs impact real people, from Iowa farmers to Shenzhen tech workers to consumers worldwide. Okay, but how does this affect you? If you're a consumer, expect some prices, especially on tech, appliances, and goods from China, to dip slightly in the short term. If you're an investor, the markets are likely to remain volatile as we approach the end of this 90-day window. If you're in manufacturing or exports, this pause may allow some breathing room, but you still need contingency plans. This also reinforces a bigger trend. The global economy is becoming more fragmented, and businesses are looking to diversify supply chains beyond China to places like Vietnam, Mexico, and India. This isn't the end of the US-China trade war, but for now, it's a temporary armistice, a chance to breathe, regroup, and maybe, just maybe, move toward a more stable future. If you want to stay ahead of the global economy, hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comments. Do you think this is the beginning of the end? Or just the eye of the storm?